Hi there, Mallory from Humanitec back again with MVP Phase 2. Now we're going to start the technical work in the integration phase. In Phase 2, you can also be expected to spend approximately 1 week. Sometimes this phase bleeds together with Phase 3, and that's completely fine. What's important, though, is that you understand the separation of tasks and how you need to make everything work together. The goal of this phase is to get the baseline platform set up. Inside the tech track, you're going to work on integrating the orchestrator with your infrastructure and with your cloud environments. In the business track, we're going to focus on the return on investment calculation. We'll be able to do a first version of this based on the metrics that you've gathered inside of the discovery phase and some inferences we can make as we're starting to build the underlying platform. We'll also be able to look at some of the key components of your engineering team and how those cost factors might be impacted inside of a platform engineering initiative. For the security track, we're going to work actively with security to be able to prepare the deliverables we would need to take a platform to production. You could still be doing an evaluation in this timeframe because, again, that does take time. Once you receive a particular requirement, it's important to document it, and it's important to understand exactly what you need to do against that requirement. Let's take a look at the deliverables for Phase 2. Phase 2 looks a little bit different. And in this phase, we're really focused on building that base platform. By the end of this, it should be ready to receive deployments. From the learning perspective, there are going to be 3 key sessions you'll want to have with your architect. You'll want to have an end-to-end demo that goes through the day-to-day experience for both the developer and platform engineer. Inside of this, you'll want to ask the questions you have about what if I need to do X? You may not be able to achieve those inside of the MVP, but you'll at least be able to understand the context in which you can achieve those things. The second learning session you'll want to have is about platform architecture. And this is a session that deep dives the architecture itself and help you understand what you're going to be doing in terms of actual technical work. It'll break down exactly how the integration between your infrastructure and cloud accounts and Humanitec works. The third learning session you're going to have is called resource management. The idea here is to get a better understanding of resource management inside of Humanitec and how it connects into your clouds and how it works with resources. This is things like resource definitions, resource classes. It's going to help you understand how to do resource matching in an effective way across environments, workloads, and the associated namespaces that you're using. From the to-do perspective, you have a couple things. You're going to want to make sure that that first application you chose in discovery is ready to go. So for that, make sure you have all of the artifacts in place. That's things like your Helm charts, your Terraform files, any pipelines that you're actively using and integrating in MVP, networking diagrams and setup that you need to have ready to go for this, and any other documentation and roadmap items that require a platform. When you look at that first application, it's really important to make sure that it is representative of a lot of your technical estate. What you gather here will tell you whether or not you've made the right decision. When in doubt, ask your Humanitec team if the application is a good use case. The next thing you're going to do is use the integration wizard to get started with connecting all of the pieces into Humanitec. There's documentation linked inside of your project plan, as well as in the actual docs on the Humanitec website to get you through this process. The wizard makes this so much easier than doing it by hand and will make it much faster. When you go through the platform architecture session afterwards, you'll have a better understanding of exactly what happened under the hood of the wizard. The third technical deliverable you need is to start adding the resource definitions for that first application. So make sure that you're serving the dependency needs of that first app and getting that done now. Work with your Humanitec architect on any questions you might have here and anything you might run up against. Make sure that you're being representative and that you're touching as many key components as you can inside of the base of the time we have. Like I said, generally you have 1 week to 2 weeks to get through this. Make the most of that time. From the business and security tracks, we also have a couple different goals. So for the business track, we need to deliver the first version, the skeleton of the return on investment calculation, and assess the timelines that we have to get our first applications onboarded. There's a template inside of the folder your CSM provided you at the start of the MVP called the business case and return on investment calculation. There's also a how-to guide linked to in your project plan for how to fill this out. If you are on Helping Hands or White Glove, we will help you fill these out and we will help you walk through the process. We'll also help you understand exactly what these mean in your context. Same with the business plan. You're going to build a first draft of a business plan or a business case, you might call it, against a platform engineering initiative. Depending on your organization, this can be fairly simple or incredibly complex. We have a template for you that you can use and modify to your needs. Just like the ROI calculation, there's a how-to guide on this. And if you're on the Helping Hands or White Glove service level, we will walk you through it and really help you understand what it is you're doing. For the security track, we're going to start running our cybersecurity assessment to greenlight the architecture we want to use at a production scale. This can take time, so make sure you're starting it early. Humanitec operations team can support you through this process by answering any security surveys that your team might require. What's important, though, is open lines of communication between you and your security team. Make sure that you're answering all their questions, and we will help you if you need that. Make sure that they can also come to you and see how things are going. One of the easiest ways to be successful in a platform engineering initiative is to have security on board. And the best way to do that is to be communicating at all times. If you have any questions, reach out to your Humanitec team. Your CSM and your architect are here for you. If you want to just reach out to the customer support service, you're welcome to hit us up at support@humanitec.com. Looking forward to seeing you inside phase 3.